and this is the finale of Inside Singapore Sports Business. I am your host, Adele, and I hope you have enjoyed exploring the many different sports businesses here in Singapore. We finished the season by exploring a different sports facility and infrastructure here at the arena at Woodleigh Park. Once again, this show is brought to you in collaboration with Sports Singapore and the Toad Board. Let's explore with today's guest now. Here with us to chat about sports facilities and infrastructure in Singapore is Mr. Simon Tan, the founding director at Cafe Football and the Arena. Simon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I am looking forward to this chat because I think that Cafe Football is really cool, and we've been here, we shot at different corners of Cafe Football, so finally we're here with you today. So Simon, please introduce to our audiences, tell us more about the arena, what are the facilities that we can find here, as well as Cafe Football.
So the arena, the landlord is of course PUB Recreation Club, sitting on a 320,000 square feet land. This place has been PUB's staff clubhouse for the last 45 years. So in sometime 2016, they reach out to private operators like us to come up with a concept to make this place to take over their football pitches. I knew about it, and when I hit together a team to design, of course, to take over the football pitch. But when I came over here to do a site recce, I realized that there's a lot of opportunities for other sports, and that was when I wanted to create a multi-sports lifestyle destination. So currently now at the arena, of course after that we've been awarded a project after various rounds of interviews. So now at the arena we have 6 football pitches, right? 1 11-a-side, 2 6-a-side, and 3 5-a-side pitches. We have 4 indoor badminton courts, which is run by PUB. We have a Muay Thai gym, a aerial yoga studio, a kids gymnastics studio, a physiotherapy clinic, a CrossFit gym, and recently just this childcare called Red Schoolhouse just joined our team. So they've started a childcare center at the arena. And of course, other than that, we to complete the whole arena, we have this restaurant called Cafe Football, which is where we are now.
Wow, so do you remember how you got inspiration for a multi-sport facility?
Yes, I do remember. Well, I was looking at the market, right? When a family wants to go to somewhere, say for example, a family, the wives or the girlfriends, they want to do their fitness classes, say for example, yoga, they have to go somewhere, right? And then more often than not, the boyfriend or husband will sit down there and do nothing or wait for them, so on and so forth, right? Likewise, if a kid, I've seen a lot of my friends sending their kids to some academies and they will sit there and do nothing while waiting for the kids. So that's how I came out with the inspiration of starting a facility whereby there's activities for every member of the family, right? So for example, in the family, the wives and the girlfriends will be attending yoga, the kids will be doing the football academy, where we have one of the biggest football academy here in Singapore. And husbands and boyfriends will be at the bar drinking. So essentially, this is how the concept of multi-sports lifestyle destination is.
And do you remember, at the peak of the arena, pre-pandemic of course, how much footfall were you seeing? How much foot traffic was going?
I would say easily we have 3,000 to 5,000 people coming to our facility itself on a monthly basis. I mean, just on the football academy itself, I think they have more than 1,000 kids on a weekly basis, right? Of course, those are not unique kids, but there may be kids coming on a repeated sessions as well.
Because of some of your partnerships.
Yes, right. And my Muay Thai, yoga, each of them has got their followings of at least 200 members. So all this adds up to that number that I just said. So how do I get people to come to cafe football? Is through all these partnerships with these people, drive their members to their gyms.
Right.
While walking to the gym, they will know there's this restaurant called Cafe Football.
So who are some of your partners, if you may reveal? I think when you started out, did you immediately have partnerships in mind?
Okay, so this multi-sports lifestyle destination is not a concept that I churned out overnight. So it took me 2 years to come up with this concept, or rather an idea of how I want this to be. So during that 2 years, I've been talking to various operators, right? Like the Muay Thai, the aerial yoga. These are people that even before I had anything, I have anything on hand, I was just telling them, look, I'm going to do this. If I were to eventually start something like that, would you want to join me, right? So these people were men of their words. They said, look, if you have this, just bring me on. So as I came and realized that these are only a number of rooms that I can have, so I immediately approached them, and immediately they came on board to be part of the arena team. Yeah.
Nice. So then you were seeing easily monthly 3,000 to 5,000 people coming in to use your facilities, enjoy the food and drinks at Cafe Football, and then 2020, the pandemic comes to Singapore and circuit breaker. Can you share with us how that was for you in your experience, and what happened to the arena?
No businesses will plan for a closure like that, right? So likewise, I would say that this happens to many other businesses. We were all caught in a fix. Like we were ordered to close down, no dining in, no football, no gyms, no nothing, like overnight. So all in all, we were taken aback as to what should we do next, right? Everybody's stuck at home. That was the only functional area. I mean, well, we were talking to our operators and everything. They were talking about setting up online classes, but for football pitches, you can't do online classes, right? You can't ask me to play football online. So we decided to just close it permanently, right? Until such time when the government says okay. The only functional area was our restaurant. They only allow delivery. So what we did was we initially depended on delivery services, the regular delivery services we have in Singapore, which was very, very slow, right? So what I did was together with my partner, we decided that we should come up with a certain set meal and gift it to somebody who's staying at home, right? And we did that. And I bought this particular set, or rather I brought this particular set and gifted to a friend of mine and asked her if she would pay for the same set for two of her friends who were staying at home. So we handwritten postcards, we delivered to them, and we went on and realized it just multiplies like that. And thereafter, because I have a good business relationship with some of the insurance agencies and property companies, so I went to ask them, if they could support Cafe Football by buying these packages to give to the agents, give to our customers, Because during that point of time, to be fair, everybody was stuck at home. Nobody knows what to do, right? This is the first time everybody where the entire nation locked down, right? So that kind of helped. And initially, it was myself and my partner, Derek, doing this delivery service for just two of us. But once we had the bulk orders from the insurance companies and property agents companies, we increased our delivery fee from 2 to 25, right? So there were days that we deliver like 400 sets of lunch and dinners in a day, right? And we only had like one and a half hours at max to deliver all this to island-wide in Singapore. So that generated quite a bit of, I won't say quite a bit, but it was cash flow for us to run the business because
managed to sustain you through the lockdown.
Yes, and we had so many staff, right? So during that period of time, during circuit breaker, we split our staff into two teams to report on alternate days of the week. But it was after the first week, we realized that we were getting in so many orders. We brought in all our staff members and even add on more people so that they can help assist with the packing and the preparing of the food packages so that we can deliver out to the various customers.
Oh, so you actually added headcount. Wow, during the lockdown. That's great. That is, I guess, one of the minority during the lockdown, adding it comes with their businesses. But then, do you remember then, with regards to the arena, when finally people were allowed to, in small capacities, go back to doing sports? Do you remember what it was like here?
Well, it was like, again, it was something that none of us have experienced before, because with all the safe distancing measures in place, we started with groups of two. So if I can remember, the day was 19th of June 2020, when government allows 2 packs dining in, 2 packs of workout together. So it was a trial and error for everyone, right? Even for us at the restaurant, for all my operators. So what we did was, because we have a luxury of space here, and they're all outdoors, mostly outdoors. So what we did was, so for example, the Muay Thai asked if they could do Muay Thai sessions one-to-one at a football pitch. I said, go ahead and do it. So they've done it before, and it was facing the road. In fact, that was actually good, because it's just directly beside the road, and people are driving past and they will see how come there's Muay Thai being done in a football pitch. Yeah. So that is like indirectly doing some marketing for them as well, right? So we just have to adapt and move along and to innovate rather.
Did you notice then, like, when we were finally open to do sports again, did you notice whether, before that you of course had your sports enthusiasts, your exercise enthusiasts, but did you notice whether after we were allowed to revisit exercises and sports at a facility like this, was there any difference in the attitudes of people or the hunger for exercise?
I would say a lot of people have taken doing sports freely for granted, right? I mean, nobody will expect that there will be a nationwide lockdown whereby we'll be stuck at home, no interaction with people outside our household. So when the restrictions was kind of eased off a little bit, we could see that people were more appreciative of that freedom, right? They could finally come out and do something. And for me, I mean, I was speaking on a personal note, that I'm one person who never visit the gym, right? My sports are all involved with ball games and stuff. But I tried to go for a run myself. I got dengue, and I came back. I tried to go to gym. Initially, it wasn't pleasant.
So you're more a competitive sport kind of guy.
Yeah, but eventually I told myself, I mean, I would say that I'm somebody who just can't sit still. I need to do something. So, all thanks to circuit breaker, I found an interest in going to the gym, right? So, since then, I visited the gym almost on a daily basis.
Well, when you say you visited the gym, you mean you visited your own gym here at the arena, okay?
So, that has become a part of my lifestyle now, right? Like into how you have coffee in the morning, I'll go to the gym in the morning, right?
So even for yourself, on a personal level, you experience that.
And we can actually see that this positive influence has flowed down to some of our customers as well. So we have a group of customers who used to binge drink and cafe football and eat and stuff. But I guess both my partner and I, they have seen a change in us. So they will engage in sporting activities before they binge drink. Oh, wow. So this is, I would say, this is probably one of the best things that ever come out of circuit breaker.
So Simon, as the owner of a top-class multi-sports facility like this, and also as a competitive player yourself, former competitive player yourself, how do you think that having such facilities and infrastructure in Singapore can support or help develop our sports scene, our athletes, people who are just passionate about sports?
Let me correct your statement first. We are not top class, but we are okay. I wouldn't put myself as a top class facility, but I would say the facilities that we are offering here is of a certain standard, which all of us, including myself and my two other partners, Darren and Russell, takes a lot of pride in it. Unfortunately, in Singapore, we don't have that kind of our sporting culture is not as strong as what you see in UK, their football, and in US for that matter. But we do have our own talents, right? We do have our own talents. I mean, the name of like Joseph Schooling and all other people who have gotten, world titles, right? So it's not that we are not good enough. It's just that probably our population is small, but that doesn't mean that we should neglect this group of people, right? So just like my football field, because like as you mentioned, I used to play football and I do know the people from the football fraternity. So I'm readily how do I put it, like make my football place available for them whenever they want training. So yes, while a couple of Singapore Premier League clubs have trained with us before.
So you have professionals training.
We do.
What are some of the teams?
I mean, we have we have Lion City Sailors, we have Balestier, we have Hougang United.
So they all train here.
Geylang, yes, they have one way or another. They have done trainings here at our football pitch, but because we have a vast variety of sporting stuff, right? That includes the gyms. So some of them, not only do they use my football pitch, they will use my yoga studio as well. They will use my CrossFit studio to do different kind of gym work, so forth. So I would say that Arena has somehow has created a space whereby we also help in developing athletes, both current and future athletes, from the infrastructure point of view, right? Per space point of view. So that is something that we, between my partners and my team, we are very much appreciative of that this opportunity given to, or rather, the trust given to us by these football clubs to want to use our venue for their development.
Right, and I know that, from previous conversations with you, that you care a lot about the people who you work with. I think you also mentioned that when you have a venue like this, a multi-sports facility, when you have the right infrastructure, not only in the development of professional sports career, you can help them with the longevity of their sports career.
Yes. So as I was saying earlier, if you are a footballer in England, for example, right, you're an instant millionaire, multi-millionaire,
Yes.
right? Some, like even David Beckham, right? He made even more money after he stopped playing football, right? So, but like I said, we do not have the kind of sporting culture, right? As rich as those countries. So a lot of times, especially football or especially sporting careers, is a very short span, right? I give you, if you are good, maybe 20 years at max, or maybe even 15 to 18 years. But what's next after that? Because you can peak at 17, 18, 19 years old, and now 15 years you'll be like late 30s, So what's going to happen? Because you still have a full life ahead of you. So when I first started Arena and Cafe Football, we actually offered jobs for some of my friends who stopped playing football. We trained them as a barista at our cafe, and some of them are coaches at the football school. Some even, I even pushed the idea, why don't you start a small football academy? I mean, since you guys are already footballers with the right badges, why don't you just start a football academy, use my fee and so on and so forth. So in a way, I'm also trying to create a kind of opportunities. It's not like after playing football your life stops. No, there's actually a life that's full of life ahead of you after you play football, right? So I'm just trying to facilitate that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, we're very young country as well. A lot of our scenes are not as mature yet as some older countries, but I guess it's very encouraging to see, facilities like these coming along and then being able to support the idea of having a career in sports and the idea of having a post-career in professional sports. But what about on the community grassroots level? How have you seen increased facilities like yours help the community to be more interested in sports maybe?
So when we first started this facility, it's really not to have any judgment on anyone, right? Regardless of the skills level. If you like to play football, go ahead.
If you're 5 years old,
go ahead and play football, because we are not here to judge, right? We are here to inculcate that healthy lifestyle kind of living, right? I mean, some people do not fancy running, right? But I mean, for me, I don't fancy running. But
Me too.
yeah, but when it comes to chasing a football, I mean, the
Yes.
do not like to run part just
Yes.
diminish, right? So, I think I can say this for a lot of people as well. I see a lot of my friends who don't like running, but when they play football, they run non-stop, right? So, so really, it's not about just wanting to play very good football. It's just about sweating out and having some fun with your friends and so on and so forth. And because um, we are lucky that Arena is situated at this area where the new Bidadari estate, which is just down the road, is up and coming. And currently now, I think there are a few clusters that's already been occupied. So we also hope that this period of time, people from young families from Bidadari will know about us, and then they can make this place a go-to destination on a weekly basis. Um, and like I mentioned, you don't need to be a good sports athlete to do sports that you want to do, right? So people that comes here, likewise. I mean, I was just speaking for example. Speaking for myself, I will never in my wildest dream know that I would like going to the gym, right? It's because I try to do it and then I realize actually it's something that I like. So I believe there's a lot of other people who's like that as well.
Right. And having these facilities works
Yeah.
helps them to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I know, like Simon, because of your experience in competitive sports, the national team,
No, I didn't play national team.
because of your experience in competitive football, you have visited many other football clubs around the world, right? How did that help you in conceptualizing this placement?
Yes, so I had the opportunity to visit top class facilities, like for example, training facilities like Valencia, Tottenham Hotspur. Even if you have the money to want to visit, you can't because these are by invitation only. So I've been to, especially when I went to Valencia's on a Sunday, I actually see that it's actually open up to the public and thousands of parents, hundreds of parents are there with their kids playing football. And they're cheering for them, and then there's a cafe that is open up for parents to purchase snacks and stuff. And then when I tried to understand the facility, I realized they actually have a lot of things. It's like a mini town village. I would say self-sufficient. They have laundry inside. They have their own cookhouse with cafeteria. They have whatever you name it, they have it. So when I saw that, and that's where I realized this is the differentiation between them and us in Singapore.
Was this before or after you started the cafe?
Before.
Before you
Yeah,
started?
before, right. Tottenham Hotspur is after, but Valencia was before I started the arena. So that's when I realized that actually, if I could create something like that, it would essentially be like the first in Singapore, right? Privately owned. So that actually spurred me to want to. I went crazy, daydream, spoke to many people about it, right? Of course, there are people who gave me good reviews. There are some people who just shot me down. But I just thought, never try, never know, right? So I'm glad that I stood by it, and together with my two partners, they who really supported me. That's how, from like it was essentially, I still remember, it was essentially on a white piece of paper that I was drawing how I want this company to be, blah blah blah, and to see it to what it is now is actually I would say my pride and joy. It will be people around me. I mean, it's
Yeah. So then, can you then share with our audiences a little bit about what are the future plans for the arena and cafe football? Can we have a sneak peek into what we can expect for 2022 and beyond?
now. I guess in the last few years that we have been in this business, I realized that maybe, or rather, the term that I would term myself is I'm in the business of space making for recreation, right? So we have gotten a new site, which is in the west area in Singapore. So we'll be starting. We are just now undergoing through renovation and stuff. By mid-April, we will be launching another football venue at Telok Blangah. So this is the first of our expansion, right? Everybody was, of course, naysayers was like, wow, during this period it's going to expand. But I will take it as an opportunity, right? While
Getting
everybody
ready.
is scaling down, I will take this as an opportunity to try to scale up. Within reasonable terms. I do have like
But you must see the demand for it, and you must see that people are itching to get back out on the fields and
Yes.
to exercise and to play sports.
yeah. So essentially, when we built the football field, people would just think that it's only for football, right? But I beg to differ. So I have people playing football by default, right? But when there are times where people I have netball academies down here. Okay? Who says that netball cannot be played on a grass field?
Also, you have people booking the soccer field for the football field for other
Netball.
sports. For
Yeah,
netball.
other sports.
Okay.
I've had dog training on days where there isn't anybody playing football, right? So essentially, that's why I say the business is about space making for activities, right? As long as we can provide them with quality surfaces and surroundings and make sure everything is okay, essentially you can do anything there. If somebody wants to book my football pitch to play chess, I'll be more than happy to rent it to this person. Yeah.
And I understand your idea is to not just have football kits, right? Because you support it with gym, with CrossFit, yoga, and I think recently also a physio.
Physio, yeah.
Is
So-
there plans for more of these add-ons?
Well, with the
Laundry service.
with the addition of physiotherapy clinic at the arena, it's sort of like completed, at least on I will loosely say it, what I saw on of those football training facilities. They essentially have everything. Like they have a restaurant. I have a restaurant. They have football pitches. I have football pitches. Right? They have gyms. I have gyms. They have medical team. I have physio clinic. It's sort of like loosely complete what I wanted to do. Honestly, I think it's very difficult to find another place with such good landlord and such great setup with all the different places in Singapore, right? We're not very sure if there is an opportunity. If you know of any place that looks like that, please let me know, right? I'll be more than happy to do it. So we will probably do expansion on different bite-sized stuff, right? This is our flagship. I'm not so sure whether we could duplicate another one of this somewhere else. Maybe overseas, I'm not sure. Right? Definitely, we're not going to stop here. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Well, we look forward to see what more expansion plans and what more you'll be adding on to the arena and to cafe football. I must say the food is great here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Simon.
Thank you, Adele.
And with that, we have ended today's episode of ISSB. This was actually the last episode of Inside Singapore Sports Business. Thank you for joining us throughout our 18 episodes. We hope you have enjoyed this show as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. We hope to see you again real soon.